Hope Channel, changing lives.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Real Talk. My name is Evie. It's another Wednesday and we are on your screens. Grateful to be in the studios of Hope TV Ghana. We are also live on Facebook and YouTube, Hope TV Ghana. You can join the conversation by leaving your comments under the comment sections of our YouTube and Facebook pages. You can also stream live, join the conversation, and let's have a holistic discussion. You know, when they talk about abuse, in general, they would say abuse is treating a person or a thing with cruelty or violence. And this is usually done repeatedly or on a regular basis. And people usually assume abuse to be only physical. You know, they think that you just have to hit someone for it to be abuse. But there are several types of abuse. We can speak on verbal, emotional, financial, and mental, a lot of them, and of course physical. And when it comes to dating or relationships, abuse can be said to be a pattern of behaviors where one uses those behaviors to gain control or power over their partner. And in our part of the world, unfortunately, abuse is usually seen as something that happens to women. But everyone can be abused, a man or a woman. And unfortunately for us, men are usually stigmatized when they are abused. Men feel ashamed to talk of abuse that have been meted to them by their wives. Because you hear very negative, derogatory remarks such as Kojo Besia, Kotobonku, Oye John. You know, they just speak to the man as if he is less of a human just by the fact that a woman has abused him. And because of this, men are not coming out to speak on this. Men are slowly being stripped of their manhood because of this. I want you to remember that the emotional trauma or the trauma in general that a woman goes through when she faces abuse is the same trauma a man equally goes through when he is also faced with abuse. And my hope is that after today's discussion, we all will learn to empathize and sympathize with a man that has gone through abuse, as we would do for a woman that has gone through abuse. And I am so happy that the man that sent in his story today had the courage to sit down, write out his story, and share it with us, so that as we discuss to help him with solutions, we will all learn. My viewers will learn, myself will learn, my panelists will learn about abuse, and especially abuse in men. I'd like to introduce my panelists to you. I have with me amazing people joining me in the studio and virtually as well via Zoom. I have a gentleman with me in the studio. He is Oswald AJ Boateng. He's representing the Gold City Adventist Church. Oswald, good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you too?
I'm fine, thank you. How has your work been, like, throughout the week?
Oh, hectic week. Yeah, just joined a new company, so
okay.
I need to learn a lot of things quickly, and then get running. So it's not been easy, but it's all good. It's a good experience. Yeah.
It's a good experience. Okay. I'm being told they can't hear you well, so if you could.
Okay.
Give us volume. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay.
Thank you. We are grateful
Welcome.
you could
Thanks
join
for
us.
having me.
Another person joining me virtually via Zoom is Helena Bento. Helena is not a stranger to the show. She's been on before, and already I can see her very cute baby in the background. And it's great to see the kids around because it makes you know that we are having a real-time conversation, a live conversation, and the kids want to be part of it. Helena, how are you doing? How is the family? How is the little baby?
We are good. She's trying so hard to be in the camera, like so hard. But I'm gonna try so hard to not let her come in here because she'll want to like type the keyboard and all that, and I don't want that to happen. But it's been good. We are fine by the grace of God. We're fine. Yeah.
We thank God so much. I hope everyone at Prince of Peace Ghanaian SDA Church in Ohio is doing well as well.
Yes, they are doing amazing. We having our camp meeting, youth camp, during the whole week, so it's been a busy week.
Oh,
so
I see. In Ghana, I think we are starting ours in August. Yeah, so we'll be joining.
Ours is always the summertime.
Okay,
so.
Okay. It's really good to have you again. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So finally, definitely not least, is Pastor Isaac Ampao. He's with Campus Ministry Pioneer Ghana Conference. Pastor, if you can hear me, good evening. How are you doing? How has your week been? And I hope you are ready for today's conversation. Unfortunately, I can't hear Pastor. Pastor, I don't know if you're muted. I don't know if it's from my end. Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Good evening. By God's grace, yes, by God's grace, everything is fine. How about you there?
I'm also very well, thank you. If you could speak a bit more loudly for us, we would really appreciate. Okay, so I want to read a story to you. I'm sure with my long introduction, you have a fair idea of what the topic of discussion today is going to be about. But let me read the story to you. But before I do that, please remember that you as well can send your story to us via WhatsApp or our email address. You can even go on Instagram, send us a direct message, even Facebook. Share your story with us. You do not need to have a fully written story. It could be a topic, and we will make sure that we sit down, put together the story, it suits your situation well. Then we can find you the right people to have the right conversation. Today's story has been titled, "My Wife Abuses Me, What Do I Do?" So it says, "Dear Real Talk, I am even ashamed to tell my story because society mocks men who go through this. I am being abused in my marriage emotionally, mentally, and even physically. I've been married for 3 years now and I want to leave my marriage, but whenever I am asked why, I can't say because of the stigma. My wife is very confrontational and quarrelsome. Before marriage, I admired her assertiveness and courage to defend herself and others. But I think these traits are either getting out of hand or she's manipulating them to suit her. My wife speaks rudely and she's very condescending whenever we have even the slightest misunderstanding. She says things like, you should be ashamed because men of your age are doing better." The next slide, please. Yeah. "Or are you proud of yourself for where you are in life? Can't you see your friends? I am not where I want to be in life, but I'm not doing bad at all. I have a job that pays relatively well. I provide for my home to the best of my ability, but nothing I do pleases her. She keeps comparing me to others. Our married friends got a new car recently. And when we were congratulating them, she said, 'These are the men people should pray for.' As for me, I'm tired of praying for nice things. I was so embarrassed and it was so awkward for our friends. On our way home, I confronted her and she said she's not built to lie or pretend, so she just spoke the truth. We have a car. Granted, my car isn't brand new, but it gets the job done. One time, she slapped me because I asked her why she married me if she despises the life I am giving her so much. She said I insulted her and indirectly asking her to leave. There's no winning with her. She's always right and I am wrong and good for nothing. We have a year-old son, and I don't want my son to grow up observing this. That's not a good example for him. I am losing my confidence and manhood. I also never want to raise my hands against a woman. What do I do? This is a sad story. I think it's more so sad because he can't seem to speak to anyone about it. And he keeps it in, he bottles it in. And it's draining his energy, his confidence. He feels less of a man. And usually your partner should be your number one fan or cheerleader. And if this person is the one talking down to you, speaking to you in such a disrespectful, condescending way, I don't know how a man can survive in such a home. And the little I know about men is that respect is everything to them, especially from their wives. And I can't imagine what is going on through this man's mind. And so I'll come to Oswald and I'll ask you, what came to mind when you read the story? Being a man, married, doing the best you can. You just said you have a new job. I'm sure it's because it's moving on to something better for you and your family. And the person you are literally slaving for is not appreciating your efforts. And your little boy will probably see this fight between mom and dad growing, come and observe this. What came to mind when you read the story? How did it make you feel, and your general take on the story overall?
Overall, I felt very, very bad. I asked myself, why will society make men go through this? And we have become a lot more quiet on this because of the stigma attached to it.
Right.
But seriously, a lot of men are suffering this situations. And there's that fear of what society will say if they bring it out. So a lot of men are dying in their marriages. A lot of men are living with sicknesses. I know people have developed all kinds of lifestyle disease, blood pressure and the rest due to this. And they are suffering for it. And they can't also walk out. So I feel it's good this has come up to help us understand that men are also going through this.
Right.
So that we see how best to help men who are going through this. And let women also know that men have emotions.
Exactly.
A lot of women feel we don't have emotions. We do. And we also get hurt. Just that we are able to contain a little bit. But when it gets to a point, it's two things. Either they react or they keep quiet and suffer it. But it's time to change the narrative, I believe.
I agree completely. Before I go to my other panelists, I would ask you, let's talk a little bit more about abuse in men, especially from their wives. I don't hear most of these stories. I only hear about a man that has abused his wife, a man that has hit his wife. Yes. I never really hear a man talking about the treatment from wives. They don't talk about it. If you have heard or you know of anything, if you could speak on that aspect of the story for us, that would be great.
A man biting a dog and a dog biting a man, which will make news for you?
A man biting a dog.
A man biting a dog. That's exactly the fate of men now. Whenever you hear anything in marriage where there's abuse, with the man.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. I know men who can't go home when they close. Because the first thing they meet when they get home, why are you coming back by this time? Where did you go? What is that? What, not even welcome home. There are men who have turned into drunkards because that is what they use to forget about what is happening to them. Things that they wouldn't have done. People have even gotten into substance abuse to calm them down. There are men in their homes, they do not have bonds with their children because of what their wives have told their children.
Right.
And so men come home. I know of a man, when he gets home now, the best the family would do is to put his food on the table and everybody is out in their rooms. Nobody even has time to talk with this man. But this is a man who makes sure he provides everything for this family. Talking to him anyhow, to the point that, you see, children learn from what we do at home more than what we tell them.
Absolutely.
So the children have grown to know that for daddy, we all talk to him anyhow. So they've grown to the point where they also do anything anyhow when it comes to their father. These men are not appreciated by their wives and kids. And once that happens, you ask yourself, so all these things I'm laboring for, what is the use?
Right.
If the people I'm laboring for do not appreciate it, then there's no need to.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a God-fearing man who would still look up and whatever reasons and decide to still be the father he has to be, okay, we play along. And that leads to a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we don't take care of this, it is going to keep happening from home to home, in the sense that this man has girl child. The girl child is learning from what the mother is doing at home. So society is suffering another woman who is going to be abusive.
Yeah.
Because by no fault of hers, she thinks that is how to treat a man. So if we don't stem the tide now and speak to it now, and men who are abusive don't stand up and talk, and allow themselves to be bullied into this kind of quiet nature. And you know, our society is such that it's difficult for you as a man because you are seen to be the one who controls the home.
Yeah.
But a lot of men, I tell you, have lost control of their homes. They do not have power over what happens at home.
Yeah.
So our brother said he's beginning to lose his manhood, he's beginning to lose his confidence and everything. And I tell you, it affects them in the work they do. And I bet you very soon these men will be thrown out of job. So we need, I don't know, sometimes we need to let the woman know what they are doing wrong. Sometimes they might not know that what they are doing is wrong.
It's wrong.
So we need to speak to it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Oswald. I completely agree. Coming to you, Helena, obviously I'll take your take on the story. And you're a woman. What is your opinion on men being abused by their wives? Do you think it's even, are they doing this, are they aware of their actions? Is this how they see other women act? Are we learning things by observing? Are we not being taught how to behave as women, how to behave as wives? Why is this issue gradually becoming the topic of the day?
All right, thank you. When I got the story, I was like, oh my God, why did they choose me to talk about this? Because I'm a therapist by profession.
Yeah.
So I deal with situations like this all the time. And when you were talking, I heard you say here in Ghana, like, you know, why do we put that shame on men and all that? It's not just Ghana. This is a global problem. And it's so frustrating and so heartbreaking that we treat men like they don't have emotions. And the problem comes from the beginning of the child. And let me say this in our local dialect. when a male child is young, now BBC and then they're crying. Bema soon jai. Bema soon you say. Oh yeah, Bema, don't be emotional. So gradually when they are growing up, we're teaching them that men are not supposed to show their emotions. And that's where the problems start from. And while they're growing up, I mean, society, we all see things. And I can give you like so many examples of men that who are very popular, like who have been really abusing their relationship. Example would be Terry Crews. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but when he came out, Terry Crews, when he came out to talk about him being abused in his relationship, the whole entire world laughed at him. And you ask yourself, why? Some women have, I don't even know how to explain. We are stronger than some men. And even if they are not stronger than that, some women can be short and they can be very problematic. Like they can be really bad. And like the recent example is Johnny Depp. Recently, when they were tossing him up and down in court, because he thought that his wife was abusing him, and everybody was like hanging against him. Oh no, it's Amber. Like everybody was rooting for the woman, right? But then at the end, we all saw like who was the problem in the marriage.
Absolutely.
So then when I was reading the story, I'm like, this is the problem that we have, and that problem it starts from infancy. It starts from infants, like in the home. Them man ain't showing emotions, and men not supposed to. Oh yeah, like you rightfully said. Oh yeah, could you be here? Oh yeah, wait, like they're gonna laugh at you, and right from the onset, the child has that in their mind, and it's hard to take that trauma and that thing out of your head. So that's the problem. That's where the problem starts. So when I read about the story, I'm like, it's a pandemic. This is a pandemic in the world. Like it's a problem going on. So as we go on, we can break it down, like talk about it. But that was my first impression. It's a problem that it starts from infancy.
And it's great you brought up Terry Crews' example because he's a buff man. He's tall. He's thick. Nobody expects that anybody
can abuse him,
especially a woman. And so to see him as an example lets you know that anybody at all can be abused. And the second example of how society just takes up for the woman, that if there's abuse, the man is the one beating her, kicking her. Amber, the evidence that were shown in court, Amber was the chief manipulator in their home. So it's crazy. Things are getting out of control. I'll come to you, Pastor. And then I would ask you, obviously, for your general take on the story. And for you, my question would be society's mocking and stigmatizing men. I give you that question because as a church, we are a society, and we form a great part of the society. And even in the church, you hear the comments. And so I don't know if you can hear me. I'm being told I can't reach you, but I wish I could, but I'll come back to you, Pastor. Then I'll come to you, Helena, with your profession. How do we educate society? How do we help all of us to stop this stigmatization, the mocking? How can we stop this? How can we be better people? How can we be there for men as we are for women when it comes to abuse?
Like I mentioned earlier, I think it starts from home. So the problem can really be solved from home. I mean, not just from home, but if like I said, when we start at the young age and teach young men or everybody in general to be able to express their emotions. And then if we normalize that a man can be hit, a woman can be hit. When we normalize that, it will really take us very far. So I think my approach on how to solve the problem is educating parents how to raise their young man or young child, like a man. Raise them in a way that don't tell the child, because the moment you tell a child, say, Bemansu, That's it. In their relationship or even at work, when something is going on, they cannot express their emotions because they come off as weak.
Yeah.
Which I don't know who brought that up because the strongest people in this world cry.
Of course.
But we make it seem like, oh, you're strong, you're not supposed to cry. Wipe your tears, shake it off. No, we're not shaking anything off. We need to express it. I think it's about time we need to talk more about it, like educate parents, educate pastors, educate even the normal human being out there or the normal person walking around. It's time to do more educational like sessions, like talk to family. The church needs to incorporate a day that we talk about feelings. We talk about a lot of things, how to raise kids, how to like let people express their feelings. And that's one problem Africans have. We don't know how to express feelings, even female. When something happened in the home, instead of us to be able to talk to the child, how do you feel? Feel, people do nothing already. Like that's all we do.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So once we figure that part out and start from there, right from infancy, when we talk about when we allow the kids to express their feelings, it will go a long way. Now talking about those who are already grown, it's not too late. Read a lot of books, talk to people, read a lot of Google is free. Read stuff about raising my child, how to express my feelings. If you were a man and was growing up, you didn't get this privilege to learn how to express your emotions. I'm so sorry. I always say I'm advocate for men because I feel like nobody talks for them.
Yeah.
And it really breaks my heart that many of them are suffering. And I have brothers, and it breaks my heart that I don't want to hear my brother say, I can't talk about it because I'm a man. And like right when I read the story, and I was sharing with my husband and one friend, and I was like, what do you guys think about this? My friend, he's so funny, he was like, and men power, why would you let a woman touch you?
See?
And that's the thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
there we go. If a friend if he go to a friend and try to express his feelings to a friend, the first thing I would say is, I don't want to say something. Why would you let your friend? Like, why would you let your wife hit you or something like that?
Yeah.
That's what they would say. But no one, a male, female, whatever you are, you don't have the right to touch anybody.
Yeah.
You keep your hands to yourself. So the way we can treat this problem or the way we can solve this problem, the older ones are already, I'm not going to say they're already gone, but they can learn about it. Like, try to, in this life, you can learn and unlearn certain stuff. When they told you cannot express your feelings, it was a lie. I'm sitting here and telling you it was a lie. Learn how to express your feelings. It's not too late. And the younger ones, if you have a younger man, a younger child, please do me this favor. It will go a long way.
Yeah.
Teach your child how to express their feelings. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Helena. Also, coming to you, how do we help ourselves in this society? And just as Helena said, when I shared the story on my status, someone came in and said, a lady, she came in and said, Ade, Obano was saying Papa Nana. Like they don't get it. Like it doesn't make sense to them. Yeah. Why are you sitting there and then a woman is abusing you? Ade, or you no so to me. Yeah. And let a man raise his hand. Or hell.
You get it.
Everywhere.
You see, Evie, our society must help us. Look at even our laws. Most of our laws favor women.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, women sometimes hide behind these laws. And sebi, it didn't say I was just on social media today, I read something. Look at this. They say it's a law. I don't even know where it came from. Where a husband makes a purchase or an investment in the name of his wife, the law presumes that the husband intended to gift the property to the wife. Unless the husband proves otherwise, to defeat that presumption, the wife shall take that property.
Okay.
Then look at the other side. However, this does not apply when a wife makes a purchase or an investment in the husband's name.
What?
Can you imagine this?
What?
The husband will be deemed as a trustee for the wife. Know what you say or do when that was just a funny comment.
Yeah.
Know what you say or do when you're excited. If society is doing this, it gives some power to women.
Yeah.
And they feel they can do anything at any time.
Right.
And until society puts in laws to rectify these things, women will always take advantage of men. Our society should understand that women are no better than men. We all face, they say, sometimes I have a problem. We get into our universities and the same course, entry-level aggregates are different for women and men.
Yeah. Yeah.
So gradually, you see, there was a time in this country where they were saying, take your girl child to school, and then they never spoke about boys. I was a kid then. My father then, that time, said that this is good, but if we don't find a way of balancing it, we would have issues in the future. Men are always deemed to be the people who always have to get things the hard way. Women always have to have it on a silver platter.
Right.
Gradually, that has got into the fiber of society, and for that reason, men sometimes, for the fear of losing custody of their kids, will stay in an abusive marriage. For what churches will say, so they will stay in an abusive marriage. So until society makes modification to these laws we have, then men will continue to suffer. It will be extremely difficult. Like Terry's case the evidence was so glaring, was so clear, and for that reason the court had no option.
Absolutely.
But when evidence is not too clear, we have a problem.
True.
The other thing I want to put across, especially to young people who are not yet married, is that when we are courting, sometimes there are red flags. But we assume, oh, obesisa, oh, wait, the obesisa, obes. Mo courting puni. What worry na kota? And you know our society frowns on divorce.
Yeah.
So, before now at weddings, you hear people say that the day you decide to divorce, make sure you bring all of us gathered here.
Yeah.
When you bring all of us, then you can divorce.
Yeah.
You see, so if you get yourself, sometimes you've seen a lady. Oh, they want fair, you know, good shape, nice. So the woman knows that you are afraid of losing her. And because they know you are afraid of losing them, they will take advantage of it. So you see, when you are courting, you see these red flags. Don't let the fear of losing the person imprison you, because you'll be imprisoned for life, and the marriage would have been worse, would have been better off if you were single. So when we are courting and we see red flags, let us not marry features, physical features. Because I tell you, a lot of women don't marry physical features. They don't. Aside looking at what they will gain in the marriage, sometimes they look at what is the potential in this marriage. And you, instead of a man looking at the potential, the support that this woman will give you, and the kids that will come, you are looking at physical features.
They say men are moved by what they see, and we are moved by what we hear.
You see, Papa catch you say, "Entina we ni etu a utiri hono, utiri nso adwini wo mu."
Yeah.
Enti we ni ehu no, let your eyes, the sight, take whatever it is into the brain and then think. Enti Nyankopon wamfa ni na nkotua wakoma ho. Or the tua soroha.
Yeah.
Closer to your brain.
Yeah.
So that you can think.
Absolutely.
So it is important that we take cognizance of red flags during our courtships and don't end up in marriage with them.
Yes.
If you do them, If you do that, you are doomed.
I
It will
agree.
lead to abuse in the marriage. So we need to look, and you see, when counselors are counseling people, they should let them know this. I have a problem when counselors seem not to touch on these things, but allow people to get into marriage without counseling on these things we are talking about today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's important our counselors also
Also do
look at
that.
that.
Yes, I completely agree. And I am always an advocate for seeking professional counselors when it comes to marriage.
Good.
Yeah, because most people look at it's a bit, some people just look at the fact that the person is a pastor and they go for marriage counseling. But the fact that he's a pastor doesn't make him an expert on marriage. I'm just saying, please don't come for me.
That is the truth, my dear.
But, you know,
Let's not be afraid to say the
there's
truth.
some pastors that are certified. You can
Yeah.
go to them. But professional counseling with relationship is, I will always recommend that. Coming to you,
That is the
Pastor. Hopefully you don't come after me for my comments for being a pastor. But I'll take your general take. I'll start with you. Your general take, your opinion on abuse in men by women, and then I would ask you about society's role, what we can do to educate them, what the church can do to educate us all from stigmatizing and mocking men that are abused. We should allow the men to have a safe place to have this conversation. What is your take on that, Pastor?
Well, first of all, I want to say that abuse is not one-sided issue. Okay, it's not only men who abuses women.
Yeah.
Women also abuse men. But as the other panelists have already said, unfortunately, when it comes to women abusing men, men find it very difficult to kind of bring it out because of the stigmatization, and you know, the man's ego is going to be hurt when his friends get to know that your wife beats you or your wife verbally abuses you. It's kind of shameful, you know. We are men, we understand, it's kind of shameful. So that is one of the issues. I also want to say that, you know, a lot begins, a lot can actually be stopped from right from the beginning of the relationship, as my brother was saying. And this is one of the things I want to put across, very important, even before my network messes up. And that has to do with, we don't attach importance to premarital counseling, as you were saying. We don't do in that part of the world. You know, from where I'm coming from, as a pastor, when they come to you, they have basically done everything. Okay, they have just about a month or 2-3 months to go. And sometimes you look at where they've gotten to, you know how society, what people begin to say and think. When you have just about 3 months, you've done your wedding invitations, all of a sudden the marriage is not going to come on. A lot of things happen. So sometimes, my brother, that's why maybe when they come to pastors, it's like they keep quiet, even though they have to say. But I want to take this opportunity to say that if you are going to get married, seek for somebody who is certified. All right. Thankfully, by the grace of God, a lot of Seventh-day Adventist pastors are certified counselors. Right. All right. But don't just go and see a pastor for counseling. Make sure that you go for a service that will help you, so that you prepare yourself to know what you're going to enter into. You know, there are different temperaments, and these issues must be understood. You need to know how each other react to issues and all that other stuff like that. That will help you, so that when you see these red flags, you know what to do with it and how to deal with some of these issues when they come.
Yes. Pastor, before you go and before your network decides to give up on us, I want you to speak on educating society when it comes to stigmatization and mocking men that are abused by their wives.
Well, you see, I think times are changing, and these issues are not coming out gradually. You know, gone are the days men suffer beatings by their in the hands of their wives and they keep quiet. Sometimes they pretend they had a fight in town and stuff like that. But I think now, you know, it's changing. What I want to say is that as churches, we can begin from there. We can create avenues for husbands to come out and talk and share their problems. We can create groups like that where we give them the platform and the opportunities for them to talk about their issues without feeling guilty or without feeling embarrassed or stuff like that. And I also want to say that as men, we must understand that we too have feelings. We are human beings. We are also vulnerable. We also have some kind of hurt when people do things like that to us. Don't try to always be, that I'm a man, I don't have people to hear, that. It goes a long way to affect everything about your life. When you are to feel little in your own home, it affects productivity. Everything is going downwards, okay? Your kids are going to be affected, your work, your health, everything is going to be affected. So you must understand that this thing is going to destroy my life, and you must stop it, okay? You must stop it. Don't think that people will see that I'm weak, or people will kind of ridicule me and all that. Let us begin to stop that and take, matters into our hands so that we stop some of these things from destroying our health. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pastor. I would have to go for a quick break. When we come back, I'll take some of your comments and read, and we'll continue with the discussion. We will look at cautioning the woman and any woman exhibiting such traits, and then we'll obviously take our final words and what the man should do. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. This is Real Talk.
Welcome to Hope Channel, and of course to your favorite program, Watch These Signs.
As long as you are not in that boundary, he will do all kinds of things to protect you so that you continue to move. There are times some things should have happened which should have crushed you to death, but because of the power of God, to give you extra more time so that you can consider the issues of eternity. From plug things
on the farm.
Verse 23.
Yes, and that was when the Pharisees came, then he made this statement. And that is the same response people give today. That the Sabbath law says, thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do this, don't touch this, don't go to market, don't. And so people use this text to tell you that even Jesus,
break. We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana. You're watching your favorite show, Real Talk, and I hope you've been enjoying the conversation so far. If you just joined, we are talking about abuse in men, and we've had a very interesting conversation. I would say a very educative one. And I'm going to take some of your comments on our social media platforms before we continue with the discussion. Okay, so this one is from Chris Nuts Indede, who says the adage, have two eyes open before marriage because they would be half shut after, is always true. Sarah Edumako says, may God give you the strength. I'm even short of words. Ikuya Santua says, this kind of relationship is not good for one's mental health. Richmond Nyako says, marriage nowadays are based on self, but not to glorify God. Those women that, when it comes to marriage, they rush to marry are problematic. They don't know the purpose of marriage. They think we marry for gain. So when they go and they don't see anything they like, then they are disturbed. My fear is many marriages will go to hell because we don't value and honor marriage like God asked us to do. Every couple is going to give an account to God, whether good or bad. Nana Owusu Bempa says, Chai, oh boy, you don't suffer. May God be your helper. But I've got to ask you these questions. First, how long did you know your wife before you got married? It looks like you knew she's assertive and wouldn't budge, and that's one of the things you admired about her to want her for a wife. I doubt she changed overnight. She's always been like this. And you failed to equate her temperament with yours to see whether or not they balance. Second, did you try to find out her ambitious expectations going into marriage and what she wants in life? It's obvious she's materialistic, which is normal, or are they lie, and had higher expectations going into the marriage, and unfortunately, you've not been able to meet her expectations. I dare say you didn't pay attention to this, hence your disappointment in your wife. Third, you seem to be someone who commands respect rather than earning it. Is that so? Did you find out whether or not your wife would be submissive to you no matter what? Respect is very important to us men, but I think we need to earn it by deeds and words rather than commanding it from our wives and all our subordinates. It appears your wife doesn't see the need to respect you. After all, you've not been able to meet what she expected from you as her husband. This is natural with most women. When they don't get what they want from their men, the level of submission to their husbands goes down. I'm asking all these because most people today go into marriage without proper checks on the person they seek to unite with. They don't find out whether or not they agree or on what they deem important in their marriage, like their sexual appeals, orientation, money, education, religion, childbearing, nurturing, temperament, etc. They fail to also take cognizance of the signs and red flags in their partners and deal with them accordingly and appropriately, which at the end comes back to haunt them. To help maintain your sanity and dignity, I suggest you seek a very respected and knowledgeable counselor. Pray, and when all these fail, ask for separation before you lose it all. Ivan Kovi says, simply put, you are not the man she dreamed to marry. She dreamt to marry. She will be easily bought or sold with wealth. She is temperamentally egoistic and can never afford to lose an argument or fight. I am sure your sexual life is terrible as well. Who are you to approach for an affair? Though you didn't touch there. Unfortunately, that's all you've got, and you need to strengthen your prayer skills and seek professional counseling. Divorce, nah, don't go there. All the best. Okay. Opoku Solomon said, if she thinks she does not deserve you as a husband, let her go and let her go in for what she wants. Okay. Mordecai says, the crux of the problem, granted that all what you said is true, is I am not built to pretend or to lie. I am telling the truth. Such a mindset is a recipe for disaster. It's difficult to correct and cancel people with such minds. They think they are always right and tell the truth, and everybody else is wrong. My brother, you are in for a rough ride. A professional counselor and a pastor can help. Your wife is a choleric. You can read our personalities and see how you can cope with her and channel her aggression and hard life into something beneficial for the both of you. It's possible, God. It's possible. May God be your strength. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time, so I want us to go back into the conversation. Oswald,
yes,
what word of caution would you give to this woman and the women out there that are behaving like this? The women out there that, you know, there's some women that can really talk. Everywhere and anywhere they talk. You can't even look at them. If they are doing something, you look at them and you're even trying to, they don't see who. They will just be going. What's the word of caution for people, women like this? What would you tell them? How can they communicate better with their spouses, even when they are unhappy?
I believe that women should understand this. We also have emotions. We also get hurt. We also have blood in us. Because you see, because I am Casanity, we suffer more.
Yeah.
Women by nature, most women, they react, they push it out.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
As a man. So I want women to understand, say, there's something that goes on around in Ghana. Bibini nipa. I don't even hear it. Men manso nipa.
Men life matter.
Yes, men, our lives matter. Oh, you say some besu. Our lives matter. The second thing I want women to understand is that you see, they are a support system to us.
Yeah.
Whatever dreams they have, that they wish, that kind of world that they wish they would live in, support us to build that thing together.
Yeah.
When you understand that, this is where my man is. This is where we want to get to. What do I do to support the man?
Yeah.
I know women who have husbands who are unemployed. They have all the money in the world. But do you know what happens? They never ever go to school to pay their kids' school fees.
School fees.
The man, because he wants the children to know that their father is still in charge.
Yeah.
It doesn't spoil anything. So know that you are a support system. Support us. Let us build this dream together. I can't build it alone. So let's build it together.
Yeah.
And when we understand that, and men, when these things are happening in the house, please find the appropriate atmosphere. And your brand of food, something she likes. In that atmosphere, have a dispassionate discussion about this. A discussion where you don't bring your emotions out, you feel, talk about it. Talk about it. Let the woman understand how you feel. If she has any issues to bring it up, try trashing it out. And give yourself time to let it work.
Right.
If it doesn't, seek a professional counselor.
Okay, I agree. Helena, quickly, as a woman, talk to your fellow women who are behaving, who are disgracing the womanhood. Talk to us. And then your final words for the man, what should he do?
These women out there embarrassing us. This is not how our mother Eve taught us how to do. Okay, so I think for the women out there, this is what I would say. I think we say this all the time, but we don't fully know the meaning of it. As I said, we just say it just to say its sake. Patience is virtue, right? It's a virtue. And if you want to be that virtuous woman, it doesn't come easy, right? A lot of, to the woman out there, if you are doing this to your man or somebody's son, you know, and you should be ashamed of yourself. I am so sorry to say it, but I'm not sorry. I want you guys to understand this. I think society has given us so much power, so we are in the power. And what we need to understand is what goes around really comes around.
Yeah.
If you respect that man and treat him good, no matter who he is now, no situation is permanent.
Yeah.
That's what I want her to know. No condition is permanent at all. The man that you see him today, that look like a nobody to you, there will be some day to come. It'll be better in a year, and then you see him and you cannot even look at him.
Yeah.
And as a sister, I'm going to use myself as an example. When I married my husband, he was a medical doctor in Ghana. So when he came here, you know, obviously he has to take the exam before he can practice here and all that. And we had moved to a new place, and I was working. He has, you know, get some things situated because he moved from different states to here as well. And I was working, doing all the house chores, not because I chose to, he wanted to help, but I could see that as a man, because he's a provider.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing what a man's supposed to do in his mind, like, you know, not supposed to provide, I could see that his spirit was down, you know? And because I saw that, I was going above and beyond. Sometimes my breath, but I'm still doing it because I don't want him to feel like because he's at home, he has to do this with me.
Yeah.
You know? And when I did that, when I said patience is a virtue, it really paid off. You know? So I want you guys to know, sometimes we really have this fantasy of going into marriage. Oh, maybe already made. I don't know where that came from. That already made, and somebody helped. You know, and already made, it also come with a baggage. It comes with a lot of things. There's nothing beautiful than starting from the bottom with somebody and be patient and waiting to get out there. with that person and sit down and talk about, oh, how we used to be here, now we're here. You can count your blessings from there like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that a man doesn't have something does not equal disrespect. And I feel like as a woman, if you love a man, as you claim, you would not even disrespect him, not to the extent of disrespecting in front of his friends.
Helene, I'm so sorry to cut you, but I have 2 minutes, so you have to wrap up.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, so to the woman out there, I'm telling you, be patient. If you are going into a marriage and thinking things are gonna work faster or whatever, you are not God to determine time.
Yeah.
So if you know this person is not your in your league, please leave that somebody's son alone.
Yeah.
And let somebody who wants to have him. And to the man, especially the guy who brought this, I'm begging you. I'm not gonna say divorce her, but sometimes we want you to push us to the limit. See, I know once. Money who said when I like put your foot down, let her know that you are the mess. Also when you're Bama. If you are listening to me, I want you to send her home. And when the family comes, let them know, say, she said you are not the man of her dreams. You don't have to even tell them she's abusing you. Just tell them, say, and all that kind of stuff. Let the woman know that you can send her home.
Yeah.
And I think when you do that, if she's wise, if she loves you, she's gonna come to a realization that, okay, yeah, baby, yeah, let me take you cool. She's not all that soft, cause she's taking care of your vulnerability. Let me tell you, soft. That's why she's doing that. So be the man for nice, for money who said you can't live without her, cause you were living without her before she came.
Thank you, Pastor. If you can hear me, a word of caution to the woman, and then your final words for the man.
Well, I would say that as women, we must understand our God-given wonderful roles in the marriages, and we must do that lovingly. Let us understand we must be there for each other, no matter what he is now. Just as my sister said, God will change things, for him.
Yeah.
So don't give him so much pressure. And you see, comparing your husband to other people will always give you problems. What in other people out there, somebody said it's like this principle, you're only seeing the best of their lives. You go in there, you see worse things that you don't want to have. So don't even compare. And to the men out there, I want to say that, you see, women, no matter how society tends, I don't know what is going to happen in the next 100 years, but women have been built in such a way that they want a provider, they want a protector, they want someone who can be there for them. Some of them are possessive, some of them are controlling. I'm talking about the women. When they happen like that, and you, the man, you get so weak, then they lose that kind of quality they're looking for in a man. So I agree with what my sister just said. Sometimes you just have to man up. Let her know that you are also a man. You also have your feeling, and you must stand up and verbalize. Don't verbalize the boundaries. Don't let her always think that she can always have her way. Let her know that, look, I don't like the way you talk to me. I don't like the way you treat me here. Let her know this is how I feel. But if you are quiet and praying about it, prayer is wonderful, works, but doesn't take away our reasoning power. So as you are praying, know that there are certain things that God is speaking to you. Your children are looking up to the provider. And if the provider is always quiet and weak, it is going to be very disastrous. So sometimes, man, pray, but also stand up as a man and do what is right to save your family, save your relationship, and also that of your relationship with God. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'd like to say a big thank you for your thoughts, your comments, your inspirational words to the man. Thank you so much to Oswald, to Helena, to Pastor Isaac. I don't have much to say. I will just say, live by the golden rule. Do unto others as you would want done to you. And if you would not appreciate your husband speaking to you in the way you speak to him, then you have to do better. And if your husband compares you to another woman, you know you will flip. If your husband comes on one day and says, Auntie Adjo's food is nicer than you, will create a whole mess. So thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It was a great conversation. To my audience out there, thank you so much for always tuning in. A big thank you to Sethina Efwa Arthur. And To my crew, God richly bless you for all the wonderful things that you continue to do. I'll be back same time next week with yet another exciting topic. And please enjoy the rest of the content on Hope TV. Have yourselves a lovely evening.